Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Top 10 Star Trek Cliffhangers. This video is where I count down my 10 favorite as well as my 5 least favorite cliffhangers in all of Star Trek. So in this video, I don't rate the episodes as a whole. I'm strictly going off of the ending scene that ended a season and a cliffhanger. And I will only be looking at episodes that ended an entire season. So it left a cliffhanger for several months. So I'll start off with my bottom 5 least favorite Star Trek cliffhangers, starting with number 5, Unimatrix Zero, which was the Season 6 Voyager cliffhanger, where Janeway, Tuvok, and B'Elanna were assimilated by the Borg. Later you find out that they allowed themselves to be assimilated, and it was pretty obvious that this was their plan all along, as part of a larger plan to help out the rebels in Unimatrix Zero, so that took some of the shock value out of it. Plus, I wasn't a fan of this two-parter at all anyway. Number 4 is Broken Link, which was the Season 4 Deep Space Nine cliffhanger, in which after Odo's experience in the Great Link, where they made him a humanoid, he remembered that Gowron, the leader of the Klingon Empire, had been replaced by a changeling. So this was the second year in a row where Deep Space Nine ended the season with Odo saying something shocking. The first time is later on in my list, as I actually like that, but you can't do the same thing 2 years in a row. You have to come up with a better cliffhanger than Odo saying something shocking. It's, sort of became a running joke on Deep Space Nine. Plus, the cliffhanger is undone in the follow-up episode where it's revealed that General Martok was a changeling, not Gowron, a change that obviously wasn't thought up of until Season 5. Number 3 is Tears of the Prophets, the Season 6 Deep Space Nine cliffhanger. I loved Season 6 of Deep Space Nine, so it was so disappointing that it got such a subpar ending. The Dax death was obviously just there so Terry Farrell could leave the show, and having a cliffhanger be Captain Sisko quitting Starfleet and going to peel potatoes at his father's restaurant was rather cheesy. I didn't feel invested in it at all. Number 2 is 0 Hour, the Season 3 Enterprise cliffhanger. Not only did I love Season 3 of Enterprise, but I also loved 0 Hour, one of my favorite Enterprise episodes, but this cliffhanger was really bad. It felt really tacked on, and it had nothing to do with the Xindi storyline, and it just felt really cheeseball, that out of nowhere the Enterprise was in an alternate World War II era with alien Nazis. Too much. And my number 1 least favorite Star Trek cliffhanger is Redemption, the Season 4 The Next Generation cliffhanger. I loved the Redemption two-parter, but this cliffhanger was beyond ridiculous. It was a really contrived and convoluted way to bring back Denise Crosby, because back to the show. I mean, really, you got an awesome story about a Klingon civil war, and you're going to hang it on the fact that there's a Romulan that looks like Tasha Yar. Talk about cheeseball. So before I get to my top 10, I want to name an honorable mention because it's the only Star Trek season cliffhanger to not make either list, so I might as well mention it, and that's the Jem'hadar, the Season 2 Deep Space Nine cliffhanger. I mean, it was alright. The Dominion were kind of scary, I guess. It ended with Sisko preparing for their next encounter with the Dominion, and there seemed to be a lot of telling, not showing, that the Dominion were scary. But it did get me somewhat pumped for what would happen next with them, so yeah, it was alright. So now on to my top 10 favorite Star Trek season-ending cliffhangers, starting with my number 10, Time's Arrow, the Season 5 The Next Generation cliffhanger. I won't hold it against this cliffhanger that the conclusion to this was really disappointing, because the cliffhanger in itself was exciting, as it appeared Data was going to die in the past, and that seemed to be panning out exactly as they thought it would, and then Picard and crew stepped through a portal to travel to Earth's 19th century. It was pretty exciting. Number 9 is The Expanse, the Season 2 Enterprise cliffhanger. This was pretty exciting as it set up Season 3 Zendi's storyline. The episode itself wasn't that great. It was just one giant setup episode, but it worked really well as a season-ending cliffhanger, with the Enterprise flying off into the mysterious Expanse to find a mysterious enemy bent on destroying Earth. A lot of promise in that ending, and it panned out really well. Number 8 is Equinox, the Season 5 Voyager cliffhanger. This was a pretty good two-parter where Voyager encountered another Starfleet ship in the Delta Quadrant. However, they had more questionable morality and ended up turning on Voyager and leaving them to be attacked by a hostile alien race, and to see them get away and leave Voyager to apparently be destroyed was an exciting cliffhanger indeed. Number 7 is The Adversary, the Season 3 Deep Space Nine cliffhanger. The original Odo saying something shocking cliffhanger. This time, I think it was well earned, as they spent the entire episode tracking down a single changeling who almost caused a war and was next to impossible to defeat. And the shocking thing Odo revealed was he said, "It's too late, we're everywhere," which is quite an ominous and creepy statement indeed that left you quite unsettled. It was a great way to end the season. Number 6 is Descent, the Season 6 The Next Generation cliffhanger. So we'll leave aside that Part 2 was one of the most disappointing conclusions to a two-parter in Trek history and judge the cliffhanger on its own, and it was pretty chilling. Picard, Geordi, and Troy were trapped and surrounded by rogue, violent Borg bent on the destruction of the Federation, led by Lore, who had corrupted Data and turned him evil. It was pretty exciting. Just don't look into how it was concluded. Number 5 is The Basics, the Season 2 Voyager cliffhanger. This was one of the most hopeless situations a season ever ended on. Voyager was completely taken over by Seska and the Kazon, and they stranded the entire crew on a primitive planet with no technologies. Things never looked so bleak for a Starfleet crew at the end of the season. It really had you scratching your head on how they were going to get out of this. Number 4 is Shockwave, the Season 1 Enterprise cliffhanger. As much as I hated Season 1 of Enterprise, it had an amazing cliffhanger with a nail-biting, exciting episode where the Enterprise program got canceled after an accident that killed everyone on a colony, but they found out that they were framed by the Suliban, so they, with Daniel's help, they went and totally kicked the Suliban's asses, but the Suliban caught up to them and were looking for revenge, so Daniel thought he would help out by transporting Archer into the future, which caused a disruption in the timeline and turned the future into a hellscape that Archer was trapped in with no way back. Talk about a hopeless situation. It was absolutely exciting. Number 3 is Scorpion, the Season 3 Voyager cliffhanger, where Janeway is forced to make a deal with the devil, as it were, an alliance with the Borg to conquer the even more dangerous foe, Species 8472, an alien race so powerful they were giving the Borg a run for their money. However, while Janeway was on a Borg ship in the middle of negotiating, they are attacked by Species 8472, leaving their fate in question in a totally exciting cliffhanger. Number 2 is A Call to Arms, the Season 5 Deep Space Nine cliffhanger, where the Dominion Cardassian Alliance took Deep Space Nine from the Federation, leaving Kira, Odo, Quark, and Jake trapped on the station, which was now under Dominion rule, where Sisko and the crew were on the Defiant, and the Defiant rendezvoused with a massive joint Starfleet Klingon fleet, which was one of the first times in Star Trek history we saw a fleet that huge on screen. It was an amazing cliffhanger that had us wondering what would become of Deep Space Nine and eager to see this giant fleet in action. And my number 1 favorite Star Trek cliffhanger is The Best of Both Worlds, the Season 3 The Next Generation cliffhanger. I mean, come on, was there ever any doubt? This cliffhanger was amazing. It was so good. I personally believe it's the main reason why many people rank this episode as the best Next Generation episode, and is generally recognized as one of the best cliffhangers on television ever. And for good reason, as we saw Picard captured and transformed into a Borg who behaved like one of them, leaving Riker to give the order to use their top secret weapon to destroy the Borg ship while Picard was still on it. So exciting, it was pulled off so well with the music, the acting, everything just screamed suspense. It's like everything a cliffhanger should be. So that's it for my top 10 Star Trek cliffhangers. Be sure to check out my channel for many more Star Trek videos. Also, if you're watching this episode when it's first released, be sure to check me out this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fill the Issues Guy, where I will join him to give a full-length, in-depth recap and review of one of my all-time favorite Star Trek episodes, the Deep Space Nine episode, In the Pale Moonlight. So be sure to join us live in the chat and join in the discussion, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more Star Trek videos to come, and thanks a lot for watching.